It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to the Science Bowl. Nice to have you here today in this, our 37th year of competition, a game testing scientific literacy. Play along with us today. Today we are featuring two outstanding middle schools, Samuel Ogle and Greenbelt, vying for the chance to become the first of our 4 semifinalists in this year's middle school competition. So there is a lot at stake. Before we get started, let's tell you about the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
We're about to start our game, but because of some technical difficulties, we will join the program in the middle of the third question. Please enjoy. Are proposing to take giant spinning cylinders to the moon and to Mars to create Earth-like gravity there of 1g. Those cylinders will work by using this C initialed force that occurs with spinning objects. Centrifugal, centripetal, or Coriolis. Say it so I can understand you, please. Brad.
Is the answer centrifugal force? The first one?
Say it again, please.
Wait, I'd like to pass it to Jake.
Jake?
The first one.
The first one's centripetal. No,
No.
the choices were centrifugal, centripetal, or Coriolis. What is your choice? Jake?
The first one.
All right, centrifugal is correct. Absolutely right. Good. Sorry to put you through all that, but I just want to make sure I can hear you distinctly. Go again. Green.
Let's go for green things for 15.
Green things for 15. One species of the redwood tree is the dawn redwood, which, unlike other redwoods, is a deciduous conifer, meaning that it does what each year? Be specific, please. It is a deciduous conifer. What do you think? Violet.
It loses its leaves or needles.
What do you want to say now? Go ahead.
It loses its leaves every year.
Judges, what are we hearing here? Not leaves. It's not leaves. Samuel Ogle, a deciduous conifer, like the dawn redwood, does what each year?
Reproduces, I guess. Loses its needles.
Does it lose its needles?
No, it does lose its needles. It does lose its needles. You were saying that at one point, but I wanted you to clarify for me. So a deciduous conifer loses its needles every year. So no one gets any points there. So we go back to the green team. Brad?
Let's go for Science Potpourri for 15.
Science Potpourri for 15 points. While the Earth's core is solid, the mantle layer just beneath the crust is molten because radioactive elements undergo this process, one with the same name as what happens in a tooth to create a cavity. What's that process, Samuel Ogle?
Is it decay?
Decay. That's what I want. Yes, radioactive decay. Good answer. 90 points to 85, almost a tie here. Go green, your advantage.
Let's go for Zoo Parade 15.
Zoo Parade for 15. Look at the monitor. This is a visual question. One of the long extinct creatures that lived in South America was this glyptodont, a gigantic relative of what animal that lives today in the U.S. Southwest and is famous for rolling Samuel Ogle.
Is it an armadillo?
Yes, an armadillo that rolls itself into a ball to protect itself. Nicely done. Nicely done. Thank you, Estuardo and Jake, for helping out your captain. Go, Brad.
Let's go for Dateline Science 15.
Dateline 15 points. In 1939, the first synthetic fertilizer was invented using this A-initial chemical that combines nitrogen and hydrogen. NH3 is its formula. Yes, Greenbelt.
Ammonia.
It is ammonia, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Good answer. I was going to tell you it's a household cleaner and has a strong smell, but you knew it by the formula. Good answer. Go, Red. Excellent.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri, 20 points. Listen carefully. If you drink too little water, you suffer from dehydration. If you drink too much water, it can dilute your blood and cause a condition called hyponatremia. Hyponatremia, meaning your body will have too little of what important chemical with the symbol capital yes.
Sodium.
Sodium, that's right. Na in natremia. Jake, you were right on it. All right, the buzzer says we've come to the end of our first round. So at the end of the first round, we have a very close game as we expected. Samuel Ogle's at 125, Greenbelt at 100. And before we ask any more scientific questions, if you did not see these students the first time they were on, let me introduce them to you now. They're all fascinating. They're doing just the right things that we expect young people to do and more. Let's start with Greenbelt and Violet. Tell us a little bit about Greenbelt, your principal and your coach, and maybe some of your alternates. Eabed was an alternate, now right here on the program. Tell us a little bit about your school, Violet.
Well, our principal is Mr. Marcellus Clement. Our alternates are Cassier and Nusaiba.
And your coach.
And our coaches are Dr. Pitt and Miss Pagunson.
All right, so we have two coaches there. All right, they're doing a terrific job because you guys are playing a terrific game here. Tell us a little bit about Greenbelt. It's in a great community over there. And your school is relatively new. What do you like about the Greenbelt school itself?
I like the programs it offers, like band and orchestra and chorus, as well as the science club and the chess club and the world languages.
Wonderful. Yeah, great science program over there. And what about a career? Is science in your thinking, Violet, about what you want to do?
Yes, I would like to be an engineer for NASA and maybe even become an astronaut and go to space.
Wow. Would you like to go to Mars someday?
I'm not sure because by the time
that could be a one-way trip.
Yeah, by the time I'm an adult, it's the phase where all the rockets start blowing up.
That's absolutely right. And of course, Artemis is poised to take people back to the moon, women for the first time, and that's coming up very quickly. So a trip to the moon may be in the offing. You're a good player, Violet, and before I leave you, just tell us a little bit about your running career.
Oh, well, I run with my dad, and I started track when I was 5, and last year I trained for and ran a half marathon.
Wow, wow. Tremendous. Well, you look like an athlete, and you know, running is just one of the best things for you, and I know you'll keep it up. I know your family is proud of you. Olivia, I know your family is proud of you too, and Iabed too. Olivia, tell us a little bit about what you do outside of school.
I like doing a lot of things. I like music. I play guitar and piano. I like reading, and I like just hanging out, chilling.
Piano and guitar. Do you give recitals ever as a pianist?
No, I'm not I don't take lessons, just mostly home taught.
So are you in the orchestra or the band at Greenbelt?
No.
You are not. What do you want to do someday?
Maybe something to do with psychology or physics. Both seem very attractive to me. So.
Yeah, and not easily figured out. So something tells me, you know, you're a great student, you know, and I know you'll continue to be. Eabed, nice to have you with us today. You told me over the summer you were watching some old Science Bowl programs to get an idea of the kinds of questions we ask. Are you happy to be here?
Yeah, I am. I really like Science Bowl because last year my science teacher told me about it and I was really interested about competing. I really like quizzes and Kahoot that we do during class, so I find it very competitive and interesting.
We're really glad that you're here. We were able to make this dream come true. And tell us about your other dreams. What do you want to do someday?
One day I want to work in the technology field, so I would want to be like a software engineer because I find technology very entertaining and also very informative. Yeah.
And you know, entertaining is a key word there because you know what you do, you have to the interest has to be there to keep you going. Nice to have you on the program. Samuel Ogle, nice to have you back. Brad, tell us the Samuel Ogle story. Principal, coach, alternates.
So in Samuel Ogle, our principal is Mr. Millspaw. Our sponsor is Miss Pumphrey.
And Estuardo was an alternate. I know Stone is out there. She was here before. Are there any other alternates on the team?
And we also have Blessing.
Very good. All right, we'll bring them all out at the end here. Brad, tell us about yourself. I know you want to be a software engineer, don't you? Yeah, and how'd you get interested in that?
The way I got interested in the software engineer is because I was on TV, I was watching like a program, and the program was all about a software engineer and how he works and stuff, and that's how I got interested.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, you know, TV it sometimes gets bashed because, you know, people say, you know, it's not involving, but you never know what you're going to see that's going to influence you, and we hope that's true for our program here too. We've had students on the Science Bowl who have gone on to distinguished careers as scientists, and there's a student at the University of Maryland who credits being on the Science Bowl for his graduating as a physicist at the University of Maryland and being one of the top students there. So we hope, even if you don't become a scientist, that this is useful to you in your life. Estuardo, nice to have you here. You are in what grade?
I'm in 8th grade.
You're in 8th grade, and like your teammates, you are from Whitehall Elementary School, which always did really well on the Science Bowl. Why did you want to be here today?
I really like, you know, coming back, you know, revisiting old memories and stuff. I used to sit in this chair too. I also
the very same chair.
Yeah.
Did you carve your initials in the chair at that time?
No, not yet.
We hope not. Anyhow, I'm glad you're back in the same spot. What do you do in your spare time?
I like to play video games. I also go cycling. I really like going on my bicycle, and sometimes I play chess, and I like to read a lot.
Wow, a cerebral guy, an athletic guy, you got it all going for you. Nice to have you here today. Jake, nice to have you back. Young man who wants to be a chocolatier, and you are going to have lots of friends. You're going to have lots of friends because if you're making chocolate, they're all going to want samples. Free samples, Jake. Have you always liked chocolate?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite chocolate?
Those caramel chocolates, the ones that are like full of caramel.
Oh, yeah.
Those are always interesting, and I do actually wonder how they get caramel inside.
So if you become a chocolatier, you're going to decide.
I will find out.
You're going to find out. Maybe you can have your own line. What do you like about science, Jake?
I like that science can answer any question that you throw at it. Like, seriously, I read these books by Randall Munroe called What If? I read both of them. Some of the questions are absolutely ridiculous. Like, what would happen if you filled the solar system with soup out to Jupiter?
Violet's over there saying, yeah, I love that book, and the questions are absurd, but you can't stop reading because they're just, they're mind-blowing, aren't they? Jake, thanks for sharing that with us. Let's get back into the game. 100 for Greenbelt, 125 for Samuel Ogle, lots of points to give away. Last correct answer was the green team. Green. Go, Brad.
Let's go for body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams a cochlear implant, one resembling the body's own tiny snail-like cochlea. Lets a person do this more easily. Samuel Ogle.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it lets you hear.
Hearing, that's right. It lets you hear more easily because it is part of the inner ear. Nicely done. Thank you, Estuardo, for your help on that. Go green.
Let's go for green things for 20.
Green things, 20 points. The new exhibit at the U.S. Botanic Garden called Cultivate, all about plants that have been domesticated like coffee and coconuts and bananas, is based on what A initialed science that is all about the growing of crops. Greenbelt.
Agriculture.
You got it. Absolutely right. Great answer. Go. Red.
Dateline science for 25.
The big one in that category, Dateline 25, is a visual question. Look at the monitor, please, in the studio. Teams, the supermassive black hole in the center of the Milky Way is named for this constellation, usually represented by the Yes, Greenbelt.
Sagittarius.
It is Sagittarius. Livia knew that one cold. The Archer got yourself 25 points, and that means you are now in the lead by 5. Go red.
Dateline science for 20.
20 points. Dateline. America's longest-serving president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was paralyzed from the waist down by what viral disease?
Polio.
Polio, yes. Many of us were vaccinated against it back in the 50s, and it is making a comeback, unfortunately so. Good answer. Red, please.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. All right. Scientists have discovered that some beetle larvae can survive entirely on a diet of polystyrene, that foamy white plastic used in cups and takeout packaging, and better known by this S-initialed name.
Styrofoam.
It is styrofoam, yes indeed. And I can remember experiments my teachers showed me setting styrofoam on fire, and it's horrible black smoke, and it melts. It's a terrible thing, but it's fascinating to look at. Go again, Red.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Listen carefully. In the early 1940s, a condition with this name that comes from what A-initialed Greek word for self was applied to children who largely ignore the people around them. Greenbelt. Any idea?
What?
Correct answer is autism. Autism was the right answer there. Self, auto, A initial, that's what we were going. Tough question. Go again, please. Red team, correct? Red team, go.
Body systems for 25.
For 25 in body systems, the discovery that a strong electric shock can restart a heartbeat led to the development of this D-initial device.
Is it a defibrillator?
It is a defibrillator, absolutely right. Got yourself 25 points and the advantage to pick the next question. Go, Brad.
What should we do? Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20. Multiple choice question. Sometimes you'll see birds using oil from their oil gland to waterproof their feathers. This process is called primping, fledgling. Yes.
Preening.
Preening is correct. Yes, it would have been the choice I didn't even get to. Thank you, Violet. Nicely done. Go.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25. Big one in that category. Because sharks and stingrays and skates all lack bones, they are known as these C-initial kinds of fish.
That's not it. Nindaria. What is it, Nindaria? Is it what? Nindaria.
Ogle, talk among yourselves in case I have to come to you.
It's what? No, I don't know.
What you got, Violet?
Pastilivia?
Is it the Nindaria?
No. No? Samuel Ogle, because sharks and stingrays and skates all lack bones, they are known as these C-initial kinds of fish because of the material that makes up their skeleton.
Is it cartilage?
It is cartilage, absolutely right. That's what I want to hear. Go green.
We have to go for 25. Let's go for green things for 25.
Big one in that category. All right. Would put you in the lead if you got it right. 25, green things. Off the coast of Australia, there is an immortal meadow of seagrass. The hundreds of square miles of the grass are all descended from a single plant, making each individual blade of that grass.
Clone.
Clone is what I want to hear, absolutely. Thank you, Estuardo. All right, you're ahead by 5. Your choice, green.
What should we do? Let's go for green things for 10.
For 10 points. Teams, if your soil is salty, one of the few leafy greens that will tolerate the salt is this one, renowned for always getting stuck in your teeth and for, yes, Greenbelt.
Spinach?
Spinach, absolutely right. The source of Popeye the Sailor's strength as well. Good playing. Go red.
Let's get physical for 10.
Physical for 10 points. Question. Isaac Newton's famous book, Principia, published in 1687, is where he laid out his 3 laws of this.
Laws of
Samuel Ogle.
The 3 laws of motion.
That's it. That's what I want to hear. Go green.
What should we do next? Let's go to Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, your brain has 2 kinds of electrical waves that are named for what first 2 letters in the Greek alphabet?
Is it
Samuel
alpha
Ogle.
and beta? It's alpha and beta.
Alpha waves and beta waves. Indeed. Indeed. Green.
Next.
15-point lead. Where next?
Body systems for 10.
Body system for 10 points. Teams, while an EKG, an electrocardiogram, is used to examine your heart, an EEG, an electroencephalogram, examines what organ?
Your head?
More specifically.
Your brain?
Your brain. That's what I want to hear. Yes, indeed. Yabed, thanks for your help. Go Violet.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline, 10 points. Whether it's chickenpox, cowpox, or monkeypox, all these diseases cause pustules to develop and are caused not by bacteria, but by these. Violet.
Viruses.
Viruses is the correct answer. Yes, indeed. Next.
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points. It was in 1957 that the Soviet Union started the space race with America by launching Sputnik.
The first satellite to orbit the Earth.
Satellite is correct. It's the first artificial satellite. We will take that. Yes, go.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5. While literature is filled with objects made of gold and silver, the tale of Cinderella is what silicon product that was used? Yes?
Glass.
Yes, to make her footwear. Absolutely right. Next.
Let's get physical for 5.
Physical for 5 points. It's at 100 feet below the ocean's surface that the highest level of alkalinity is found. A level measured on this scale.
pH scale.
pH scale is correct. 4 questions left. Go.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5. All right, Samuel Ogle, you know you need to get just about all of these here. This is, did you say body systems?
For 5, yes.
For 5 points. If you're anxious or jittery, as you might be right now on Science Bowl, you're said to be one of these wrecks named for a body system.
Nervous.
A nervous wreck, yes. You don't seem like a nervous wreck. Go again.
The rest, okay.
Green.
Zoo parade for 10.
Zoo parade for 10 points. The only place where both of these large ancient reptiles, similarly sized and often confused with each other, can be found is the Florida Everglades.
Alligator and crocodile. Alligator and crocodile.
You got it. Gators and crocs. Good. Red.
Zoo parade for 5.
Zoo parade for 5. Ectothermic animals like snakes and lizards bask in the sun to raise their body temperature to 70 degrees or above so that this critical body process can occur. Otherwise, their food would rot. Greenbelt.
Digestive.
Digestion, yes, indeed. Last question of the game, green things for 5 points. It was not until 1948 that the 2 steps in this plant food-making process, one dependent on light and the other not, were finally understood. Violet.
Photosynthesis?
Photosynthesis. The light and the dark phase is absolutely right. And that brings us to the end of our game. Well, what a game. We thought the whole time that it was going to be tied right up to the end, and it almost was. What elite playing, what super students here. They are all winners in my eyes, and I know in yours as well. But one of the teams is moving on as the first of our quarterfinalists because our final score today is Greenbelt 275, Samuel Ogle 240. We're going to clap for everybody because it's been just wonderful. It's just been wonderful. Iabed and Violet and Livia, we're going to see you November 1st, and Jake and Brad and Eduardo, this should not be the last I see of you. I want to see and I want to read about you guys because you're going to be making waves everywhere you go. Violet, would you be good enough to introduce all the people you brought with you today from Greenbelt?
Yeah, there are our coaches, Miss Pigvinson and Dr. Pit, and our alternates, Miss Saiba and Cassier, and our assistant principal, Miss Sims.
I know you're proud of everybody here, and our alternates, thank you for being here and being part of this program. And Brad, would you tell us who's behind you? We recognize these folks.
Here we have our sponsor, which is Miss Pumphrey, and our alternates are Blessing and Stone.
Blessing and Stone back there too. Thank you. They're always got smiles on their faces, you know. It's a I hope you had fun today. Because we enjoyed having you here, and the people watching enjoyed having you. And I hope you'll be back and enjoy more of Science Bowl throughout the season here. Until then, I'm Dave Zarin. Until next time. Bye-bye, all.